Hello. Hello. Welcome to my party. All right. Let's get down to business. Let me scratch my eye real quick, like all great people do. I don't actually know which chart I'm going to do right now. I have two that I'm contending with under my mind. All right. Fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just fucking do this shit. All right. Let's talk. Fucking dude that doesn't believe in astrology. I'm just joking. All right. I'm gonna delete myself. I'm joking. I'm gonna delete my face and share the screen and show you something that will make no sense to you. So, I'll pop back in. This is your birth chart, my friend. This is everything. It's the only thing that matters in life. This is okay. Stop bullshitting. All right. So, okay. Astrology. First things first. What is your sun? What is your moon? Your sun, we all know that shit. We all know it. I'm a Pisces. You're an Aries. Okay. So astrology is very complex. So you have your sun and your moon. Those are two most important parts. It's like the yin yang of your personality. So, basically, your moon is Libra. Your sun is in Aries. The moon represents the more like instincts, the emotions. It's like our emotional nature, right? So then there's a lot more as well. There's your ascendant, which speaks to your personality. It's more external, right? It has other things it does too, but yeah, it's more external personality, kind of who you are. Like on like not like yeah, it's like if like the big three in astrology are the sun, moon, and ascendant, right? That's why when you go to every astrology girls Instagram, they have three signs, right? Yeah. Um, Also, just so you know, like I once didn't believe in astrology. I'm probably the only normal male astrologer that exists. Like I fucking, I watch NBA, I listen to electronic music. I'm a drug addict. I'm just joking. Not a drug addict. I take drugs. But yeah, you know, normal dude, bro. But yeah, so astrology, just a little quick intro. Because of some of the biggest idiots in the world. And yeah, I'm talking to like these dumbass astrology, mostly girls who don't know shit. Fucking man. Um, Basically, they fuck me up for everything. A little bit about me, but I could do anything I want. I have a genius IQ. If you don't believe me, I don't give a fuck. Oh shit, I've been talking. You haven't been hearing me at all because yeah, that's really genius IQ right there. Fucking forgetting I've been using my headphones and I just switched to this shit, to this fucking microphone. You can hear me better. Basically, I'm the fucking man. I'm just joking. No, basically, there's a bunch of dumb fucks that have ruined astrology for but it's actually a sacred ancient art slash science. So um, you know, my the way I do it is based on past lives. I believe in past lives. Now, trust me, I have a book that you might enjoy, and I make $3 per copy sold. So I'm fucking really doing good. It's called Pisces Live Nine Lives. It's not an astrology book. It's literally a book about the most important, like kind of like I used to be in a fraternity and shit, and like that was the kind of dude I was. That was the kind of man I was. Not like I was like a creep or anything, but like I was not whatever. But things happened in my life. It's crazy, and I found astrology by miracle, and you know it definitely changed my life for sure. But I also like feel like the spiritual community is pretty fucking weird, so I stay away from it. But as I was saying, like I could do anything I want in life. And I've turned down everything for this because I truly believe that this is the most for me, to each their own, right? This is the most valuable. Show my face a little bit. I have to do something like that. This is the most valuable study of any study. So with that said, I'm not gonna fucking talk more about this shit. That's your reading. No. Okay. So yeah, basically conclusion, there's a bunch of dumb fucks. Like even astrologers, like a lot of young, especially young astrologers are super, super stupid. And they just have no logic, like very low. I hate saying low IQ. I sound like one of these red pill dudes, but like I don't know how else to fucking say it. Like, the ability to it's very difficult to do what I do, but I do it at a higher level than anyone, at least, young astrologers. Um and yeah, so fuck, you know. But there's a lot of idiots. So I completely understand if you think astrology is bullshit. Like I literally once actually I never thought it was I was always like interested in the potential, but I was afraid of like being labeled like, gay. Nothing against gay people, but like I was, afraid of being labeled feminine or gay. Um, but I always found it fascinating and just wanted to learn about it. So yeah. Anyways, all right. Yeah. So I need to just post something. BT. But yeah, so you have your sun is the yin your yang is your sun, your moon, right? And if it's an egg, your ascendant is the shell, the white is the sun, the moon is the yolk. All right. And I also want to reread what yeah, your friend sent me. Also, just so you know, every reading I've ever done, I never ever know shit about what the person looks like, about anything. I purposely don't want to know anything about them. So I know nothing about you. Just that you're an old friend. You guys worked at a bar together. I'm just reading this now. He's super into all psychology. Okay, I didn't know that. It's got kind of skeptical about astrology, but I think he'll like you. Okay. Well, I fucking hope you like me. Fucking hope. I'm sure. I'm never serious, by the way. Oh shit. Your fucking initials are me? That's cool. Okay, so I think he'll like you and find this very interesting. I've looked it up before and told him a few things. Okay. If he wasn't open. So you're open-minded, skeptical, just doesn't know much about astrology. Okay, cool. See, when I started talking about this, I thought that you were like really close to it. So probably should have read this first. Okay. So you are open-minded. What a good friend she is. No pressure on me. Blow his mind. uh, okay. You know your birthday is 3 days after mine, right? 9 years earlier though. 'Cause you are old. Show you. Okay, chill. I need to chill. All right. Let's just share this because I like to meditate when I do, at least when I start going. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna lay it down to you because I'm not gonna explain every little thing or this would take forever. But basically, you're a sun in Aries and your moon in Libra. So those are opposite, which means that you were born right after a new a full moon, excuse me. So basically, as an Aries Libra, um, those are opposite signs. And um Aries is, I'm sure you know about Aries, about your sun sign, even if you're not into astrology, like I just figured people know sun signs, but you know, it's the most dominant energy, right? And you have your Aries Mars, which is super strong placement. Mars is a planet of aggression, of assertiveness, of action. And its best placement, the best his best sign for Mars is Aries. Well, Aries and Scorpio, but they're different. So the fact that you have your sun in Aries with Mars in Aries makes you 1,000% just a powerhouse. Like you're someone who is a very, very masculine dude. Well, yeah, like that energy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you were like a UFC fighter or like I don't know, just someone who can definitely handle himself, someone who can definitely assert himself, a very powerful person. Aries is it's a fire sign, it's a first sign. So sometimes with Aries, they have to, chill a little bit. They can be a little bit angry. They can be like the low version of Aries. Everything in astrology, it's like there's a low, medium, and high, and everything in between manifestation, right? So it's like this is the blueprint, this is the potential, and then your free will is what makes of it, right? That's how I see it. So, in essence, you know, your sun, your like I like to talk about the sun and the moon. Um, you are with this with this axis of Aries and Libra, you are going between this real assertive, fiery, like all about independence, all about just doing it and just like you know potentially like when it comes to like relationships, this gets very much highlighted, right? Because Aries and Libra, each opposite sign is called an axis, and they have a different theme, right? So the theme of Aries Libra, your sun, your moon, is about finding the balance between, you know, like the extreme of Libra in relationships is codependency, right? I can't live without you, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And then the extreme of Aries is like selfishness, like I don't give a fuck about what you want, like fuck it, like I don't care, like I'm not willing to compromise at all, right? So yeah, like that's just kind of how that cookie crumbles. So for an Aries Libra, they spend their life going so Libra is very diplomatic, but it's very indecisive, right? And Aries is very decisive, but not very diplomatic. So you know, Aries Libra, I'd imagine, kind of is trying to find that right balance between those two variables, and also between, you know, like the right level of like how to be in a relationship, you know. And there'll be more information on kind of love stuff and all that, right? But anyways, I digress. I need to charge. Yeah, I need to try this shit in. So a Libra moon. So the moon is your emotions, right? So you need to be you basically need to make your moon sign happy. Let's just put it like that, right? Um if you don't make your moon sign happy, it's no bueno. Hold on one second, sorry. Sorry. I accidentally fucked up. I accidentally opened a message. God damn it. So I had to I add mark is unread. Okay, good. All right. Because I was messaging shells and saying I'm doing yours now. Um, anyways, so yeah, like Aries and Libra, that's an interesting one. And yeah, when you're born on a full moon, it's like from a karmic perspective, this life is about, you know, completions, right? It's about karmic completions. And it's yeah, so there's it's a very, very important lifetime. And just like in a full moon, you know, where the energy is intense, it's intense with a sun and moon. So when it comes to your parents, usually when you have sun opposite moon, it indicates that you that both parents, like a lot of times there's a divorce, not always, but it tends to. But although like I've kind of like been saying this with like a caveat, like, you know, like lately I've had some times where I've said this and it hasn't been like that. So I just say it with that, you know, caveat. But basically, you know, a lot of times people who have sun opposite moon or sun square moon, a square is 90 degrees and opposition is, as you can see, like 180 degrees or close to that, right? It's 9 degrees away from a complete opposition. So it's a loose one, but between sun and moon, it's 90 degrees is very easily like enough. Um, but anyways, so basically, one second actually. Yeah, so sun opposite moon typically means that the parents had like a very different way of you know, very, very different. If you have to like do like a writing exercise where you like wrote down, you know, your main lessons from each parent, the main things they embedded in you, it would probably be way different one parent from the next. So it doesn't always mean that there's a divorce, but it tends to kind of make it so like, you know, your main teachings and the main thing, like where psychologically what happens is I have 2 masters in psychology, and you know, I study psychology and I do you know, therapy, uh, uh astrological based therapy I do, right? Um, so, you know, psychologically, what's happening is that there's just this real need, this real split, psychological split in the personality, right? Where it's two metaphoric mouths that need completely different things, right? Or and they both need to be fed. That's the hard part. So how you can feed those two, that is the challenge. So feeding a Libra moon and air moon, right? Like it doesn't always feel so comfortable with emotions. So sometimes like Libra moons also can be, so this is what's really interesting with your chart is that Aries is like and I don't mean, I love Aries by the way, but like Aries is not indecisive, it's assertive, and all that stuff, right? um Libra is really really undecisive, and it has troubles with boundaries because one of the potentials of Libra, not all of course, is that because it's all about balance, literally the sign is a balance. It's about not rocking the ship, right? So it's very common for Libras to lack boundaries, and because they don't want to kind of shake the ship, if per se, they don't want to like, you know, make anyone feel uncomfortable, or they want things to be balanced. Sometimes they will allow other people to kind of not step all over them, but kind of like, you know, they'll allow themselves to be sort of walked over, um just to keep the peace, right? So one of the really difficult things for a Libra moon, because the moon is more unconscious, is how do I have my own back, right? How do I, um, 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 no, it's just that, yeah, it's a question of like, how do you have strong boundaries? How do you say no when you need to, right? And that's a challenge. But it's something that when you become mindful, and this is one of the gifts of astrology, when you become mindful of these things, they get a lot easier, right? So, yeah, with Libra, there's also an emotional need for beauty. Um, it's also very relational, so it makes it so there's an emotional need to be in relationships. A lot of Libra moons are, they just have to make sure that they're okay with being single, because there is that potential for codependency. So as long as they, and obviously that's not a blanket statement. Not every Libra fucking moon is codependent, but it's a potential because it is such a relationship based sign. Um, but yeah, so back to the point about the air and moon and the emotional stuff, right? She said you like psychology, so I can always speak on, from a psychological perspective. But basically, like Libra moon. So I like imagine there's like a really emotional moon sign, like a Cancer, right? And a Cancer and a Libra, they have the exact same life, exact same trauma, exact same everything, and the same thing happens in birthday and everything. And the exact same, like I said, couldn't have the same birthday because one would have a different moon. But yeah, you get the point. They're exactly the same besides their moon signs. The Cancer might, like, the same thing happens. The Cancer would cry about it in the moment, releasing that energy, right? The Libra moon, and it has nothing to do with them having, less, like, not being emotional and not having a heart. That's not what the fuck it is. But they have more of a distance. There's more of like a logical, there's more logic applied to emotions, right? More yeah, more of like more of that process of, what's the word in English that I can't think of? Rational, no, it's not rationalizing, it's a different word, but intellectualizing, I think. Yeah. Intellectualizing emotions is very common, right? Not trusting emotions, seeing them as volatile and preferring logic. Um, so the air moon, the Gemini, Aquarius, Libra moon, it might take them until, might be 7 months. Maybe it's not, it's just random. But like it might be like, a long time before they actually feel the emotional impact of that. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, like they like that's it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And so it's important for someone with a moon like yours to really just like pay attention, right? and try to do things to get you in touch with your emotions. That's my advice. Now, Aries, so your chart, your ascendant is Aquarius, right? So it makes your chart ruler Uranus. That's the planet that rules Aquarius, so it makes it a more important planet in your chart. And Aquarius and Uranus, they're all about being unconventional. So Aquarius people, Aquarius risings, they're very humanitarian, they're very open, not always open-minded, but like, they are people who are all about the future. They're all about humanity. They're all they and on the rising, because it's your personality. Aquarius risings are the types of people that would have like blue hair, like tattoos, like they do not give a shit. They are all about. They're very, very rebellious. Very rebellious. They, like if you try to tell an Aquarius rising what to do, good fucking luck. Um, especially with Aries. Like Aries, like yeah, like I think like Libra moon can be more agreeable, but you have to take everything. Aries sun and Aries Mars, like come on. um, but it is boss energy. Like Aries, it's actually called the zero Aries point, right? It's the first degree of the zodiac. So, you're born on um, the spring equinox. So, I know it's the 21st of March. It's the 20th, but yeah, right after it, 0.43. So you're born at 4:30 a.m. So in essence, there's very strong masculine energy. And the Aquarius rising, it definitely adds kind of a vibe of like, I'm doing me, I'm gonna live my life the way I need to live it. Because like when you have sun square moon, there's another part of it where it's like you're not meant to be like mom, you're not meant to be like dad, you're meant to blaze your own path. But one other thing about this about the Aries and Libra, which is really important, is that sometimes, actually not uncommon at all, people with sun opposite moon will ignore at the one part, like one of those. Like they'll only like pay attention to, let's say your moon, right? For example. So and or your Aries part, only pay attention to the Aries part, not the Libra part. So it's really, really important to understand, and you should do more research because there's literally like full on articles about every placement you can imagine, and it's just like astrology is a never ending, it's never ending, right? But like if I were to tell you every detail, it'd be 2032 when I finished, right? But I like to give you, I'm giving you like the very zoom, like, well, I'm giving you everything, I'm giving you, like the I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you the chart in the best way possible, the biggest themes and parallels and everything important that I see. So I digress. With your Aquarius rising, right here, that sets up the whole chart. So being a so now let's talk about your Mercury, Venus, and Mars, right? Because there's the big three, and then there's the big six, right? So the big six, I mean, no one really calls it that besides me, or maybe they do. I don't fucking know, but I'm not really on Instagram very often these days. But like it's basically those six planets are personal planets, even though they're not like technically astronomical. They're in astrology, they're known as planetary points. So basically they all have conscious functions within us, right? So like the sun is our identity, the moon is our emotions and our inner environment, how we live within ourselves, right? And the ascendant is our external personality and kind of the vehicle through metaphorical vehicle through which we navigate life. and the Mars is our assertiveness function, and Venus is our love language and things like money and how we spend and what we value, how we value ourselves, how we value others, etc. And Mercury is our mind and how we communicate, how we think, all that, right? So then there's aspects, right? Like, for example, like I said, sun opposite moon. That's an aspect. You have sun square, 90 degrees, Neptune, you see? So squares, oppositions, conjunctions, those are the most important ones. And there's other ones as well. But those are the tough ones. So, and I really focus on those. So, okay. So basically, you know, well, actually, let's talk about the karmic stuff. So, mm, 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 we have a really heavily aspected sun. It's square Neptune. Okay. I'll bring aspects later. Okay, so basically, with your Mars, right here in Aries, that is like the strongest energy, right? People with Aries Mars are athletes, they are fighters, they are not people that back down from a challenge. In fact, having an Aries Mars like makes you Aries as fuck, you know? So that's really strong. And then your sun, these are houses, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 12. These represent different arenas of life. So the planets, based on where they land in the sky at the time of your birth, land in different houses. So a third house sun and Mars and Aries is literally speaking about communication and learning and how it's actually a very good indicator of intelligence and curiosity about life and how you're really meant to be curious. You're here to be curious. You're here to really kind of imagine what could be, right? And just really test a lot of, I guess you could say, theories about life, right? So with the Venus, it's in Pisces, and that is a very romantic placement. But you have it square Neptune. But I'll talk about the love stuff a little bit later. But basically, yes, you have Mercury in Pisces also. So all of your personal planets, there's 6 of them. 5 of them are in 2 signs. Actually, that's not true. But 5 of them are here, right? 1, 2, ascendant, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars. And then it's only the moon in Libra, right? So there's 2 in Aries, 2 in Pisces, 1 in Aquarius, 1 in Libra. So that means that you have air, water, and fire, but you lack earth, just like me. And you can see down here, you lack the element earth. So what happens when you're lacking earth? Well, you tend to lack a certain balance in life, right? Or once again, nothing is set in stone. It's all about your free will, but it makes it more challenging to achieve balance. What I mean by that is people who have a lot of earth, they can tend to sort of wake up day after day. And I get it, you have Aries, so it might not be as extreme as for you as it is for me. But having a lot of earth can sometimes make people a little bit boring, not always, and predictable, but sure as hell it gives them the superpower of being consistent and being able to feel what like wake up each day and kind of like feel like like a similar version of themselves day after day after day. It's not the same when you don't have earth. It's a struggle. So it makes the importance of going hiking, of working out, of really pushing yourself to have a very solid routine, right? That becomes extremely important. And if that isn't done, yeah, it can just cause all kinds of issues, right? It can make like having a night, the day job very difficult. Um, it just causes all kinds of issues, right? That's the hard cold facts. Hard cold facts. Um, so yeah, so with the Aries Mars, like I said, you're gonna be a very, conjunct the sun. Like you are all about your action. You definitely need to fucking work out if you know already. And honestly, I would write. I would do something writing. I don't know if you enjoy writing or not, or but like basically, it's important for you to be extremely curious. It's important for you to really, 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 really try on tons of different things, right? Um, Also, third house suns tend to just like really enjoy their kind of immediate surroundings, like short trips like around like where they live. Um, they could, if they have siblings, the siblings could potentially play a very, very important role in their lives. With Sun and Mars there, it can indicate like lots of importance, but also maybe some clashing of heads. But it's not always that, siblings. And yeah, so with the Mars, so with the Pisces energy in the second house, right? So that makes it so you benefit. And when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about just astrology or just, like any of this stuff, right? I'm talking about like my definition of astrology of spirituality, which is, catering that relationship, that inner relationship with yourself. That's literally how I define it. So, the more that you can create this spiritual relationship with yourself, right? In whatever way that looks, the better it will be for you, even on a material level. If there's an over dependence on the material, it could be bad. I'm not saying like some horrible thing is going to happen. It's just that, Pisces second house is definitely, um, you know, it's definitely good in that way, right? It's definitely, yeah, it's very, very much about having that balance between the physical and the material in terms of your values. So doing like getting good at something like meditation could be amazing. And you have your Mercury and Venus in Pisces. So let's talk a little bit about love. So your Venus in Pisces, that's like the ultimate, it's a beautiful placement for being very romantic, and kind of wanting that kind of very, very deep soul love. Um however, when you like, Aries is like kind of like go getter in every area of life, but um I definitely think from your chart, like I would imagine you're probably a lover. um so but the big watch out is that the Venus squares Neptune, and that and not having Earth in your chart, you really, really have, like, I don't know if you're single or not, but you really have to take things slow in relationships. um so if that isn't done, it can create all kinds of problems because of the rose colored glasses, right? um the basically, like, the Venus in Pisces can be very, very like over idealistic, like Disney movie, to the fucking extreme. um so it's really important to take any romantic thing very, very slowly, to have like a friend who's next outside, to be very aware that, um there can be that potential to put someone on a pedestal. And if you're married, happily married for a long time, I apologize, I'm literally like, I would read this chart the same for someone who's 20, whatever age, minus like kids and teenagers. It's a little bit different, but yeah. So what can happen also with Venus square Neptune is that it can come from like, uh self-esteem issues. It can relate to self-esteem issues, and in particular, a sort of fog when it comes to truly seeing the self, right? So there can be confusion around, how, the self, basically, right? Um, not seeing the self clearly, right? So it's really, really important to know that, right? It's really important to know that, and to to take all precautions in anything related to the heart. I've had, I know all tons, all types of horror stories, right? About, I lost the best friend like that, who had his, had a similar thing, and he married a Jehovah's Witness, and just wouldn't listen to any of his friends, and did it super fast, and then he's just like, she's completely like stolen him. His soul has just been taken by this fucking chick. Um, and like, it just shows that, and he's in Aries like you, with that Aquarius moon, you're a Libra moon, so it's very similar. I'm not saying it's gonna happen to you. You're not gonna, hopefully not go for Jehovah's Witness, but nothing against Jehovah's Witness, just fuck them, fuck them for with stealing my best friend. But yeah, like, basically, like, the idea of like seeing the potential but not the reality of where that person is, and then making promises too fast, ignoring red flags, that whole kind of shit, right? So the more you're able to see yourself clearly, and also like expecting perfection in relationships, right? That's another part. So when you expect perfection in relationships, well, you're often disappointed, are you not? Because, yeah, for obvious fucking reasons, you're disappointed. So it's just really important to understand that, and to just take things very slow in relationships. So with that aside, let me think. So also, Sun square Neptune can make someone a little bit susceptible to lies. And it can also make someone kind of have, like, it's just a difficult placement, because it can make, like there's a big time for alone, big need for alone time, right? Because with this and all your Pisces energy, um it can be really easy to lose yourself, and having Pisces and Libra, those are the two signs that lack boundaries, right? So yeah, like, it's just really, really important that to have that in mind. And with the Neptune placement, Neptune square Sun, yeah, it's just all about identity, right? It's all about identity, and how that identity can be fogged, how there can be fog that really, really makes it difficult for you to see. And also, it weakens vitality too. So there's just like many battles that must be overcome for someone with that to feel strong and confident in themselves, right? And it makes someone such a caring person, such a very, you know, amazing person. But they can really fall victim to injustices, and yeah, it's just like difficult. And it's important not to turn to drugs or alcohol, because that can be common for this type of aspect. And usually people with this, they're forced to deal with the weak spots from an early age. Um, it could be bullied as a potential. And sometimes people have trouble trusting this, like, people with this, for no reason, right? And sometimes it feels like when they're telling the truth, people think they're lying. And then when they're lying, people think they're telling the truth. So It's fucked up. Um, so yeah, all kinds of things like false accusations, different scandals. Like it's just really at the end of the day, the way to beat it is to um be of service in your life, and do things for the greater good. And that kind of clears out all this energy. But really, it comes from self-image, as I said. So one of the best tools for self-image is to use also it's not just self-image, improving inner strength and removing self-doubt, right? That's like really important, even to like physical health, right? So you know, like it's really important to watch yourself also from poisoning, like recreational drugs, alcohol, medication, you name it, right? But using mirrors and cameras is like a cheat code. And I've told this, I didn't believe it at first, but like it's been over a year, 2 years, I've been telling clients about this, and I swear the results have been fucking nuts. Because who would have thought that, filming yourself on a camera, talking, just like almost like you're like a YouTuber, you're just like talking about your day, but it does have like a magical effect somehow. It's crazy. So yeah. Um, and also like doing affirmations, and just like really like the more you deepen yourself spiritually, the more that any of this, because like sometimes this Neptune square can feel like someone who's just like going in like in loops, endless loops, and like not like there's just so much fog, of course it gets better with time, but still. But it's really good for like anything in entertainments, music, anything creative. It's just like but yeah, also very, very good for anything activist related, charity, social work, psychology, all that stuff, and that is really, really good. Um, okay, so the moon is with Saturn. Damn, that's a tough one. So okay, your moon is already, so moon conjunct Saturn is very hard because it makes vulnerability very difficult, right? Um, Now, of course, as I said, and also the mother, typically moon conjunct Saturn, typically the mother was quite strict or quite stringent, quite on the individual's ass. It doesn't mean necessarily that it just, yeah, it kind of has like this burdening effect on the emotional life, right? And when Saturn with moon leads to, a lot of people with this have melancholic times, depressive times. They can feel sadness, guilt. It's not a forever thing. It gets better. So you've had your Saturn return. So after 30, all the Saturn stuff gets a lot better, right? And you have two big Saturn transits. So I imagine like after 30, 31, your life really, really changed after Saturn return, like a lot. But you know, there's this like deep, deep need to feel needed, but then it's just like a lot of times, well, it actually depends. Like if the mother was very cold or mean towards you, then it becomes even more difficult. Um, and there's this deep need to feel needed, but building up that feeling of emotional security is very difficult, right? And a lot of people with this, they feel like they have to grow up really, really quickly. Potentially something going on family wise, who knows? And you know, a lot of people with this like learn like coping mechanisms. Like a lot of them felt like very alone when they were younger. Um, so yeah, there's lots of healing there. A lot of times there can be even like being too strict with yourself. So a lot of times the parent was quite strict. Um, and it's really in the end, the goal is emotional maturity. So nothing in astrology is a death wish. This makes someone who's emotionally mature over time. But the first 30 years, it's very they have to overcome shyness and lack of self-respect. And these are like life goals, like some people have like karma around money, some people have karma around certain relationships. Like a lot of people actually have like their biggest karma is very deep internal stuff, right? So yeah. Um, Now, let's see here. Um, besides that, yeah, positive reinforcement is really important. And leaving your comfort zone, right? That and just doing the things that scare the shit out of you are really important. And being able to show others deep emotions, that is the game changer. It turns isolation into like, that is the game changer. And if you're a parent, it's really, really, really good aspect for being a very good parent. Because you can express the best of this because, I said after 30, 31, it becomes a very good thing. And it's like the maturity and bonding for the benefit of the children/child. Okay, so that one's tough. Besides that, you have Jupiter also. So this one is also conjunct the sun, and they're both the same distance. So this is offsetting a lot of that. So if that didn't all sound like that on point, well, Jupiter conjunct Moon is one of the best aspects in all of astrology, and it literally offsets that one. There could be themes of both of them, but Moon with Jupiter makes someone very, very happy, popular, generous, optimistic. Not a shit talker, very bright light. So now I'm very, very curious, and I wonder if there's like different times in your life where maybe you're more like where like you kind of swing between the two, but like I don't know, like or if it just kind of balances out, right? But yeah, very charismatic, social success, usually like lots of friends, and it's just like this infectious optimism that people love, right? Um, and making friends usually comes very easy. And it makes someone like very open emotionally, they're an open book. So yeah, I'm curious how that kind of plays along with the other one. Um, so yeah, so this speaks to like the mother being, if this was the only one, being very, very positive. So it's very interesting. I've never seen a moon like conjunct Saturn and Jupiter, like both 3 degrees away. It's very interesting. I guess Saturn's a tiny bit closer, but like 0.47. Um, but one thing to watch out for is spreading yourself too thin. Um, so like promising people too much, right? And being too generous and people taking advantage of that generosity. But yeah, it's usually like a really, really good relationship with the mother. And there's usually like a very, very important female in your life who you have, who like has like an amazing influence on your emotional well-being. Commonly it's your mother, right? While growing up. However, at various stages in your life, it can come from a best friend, a partner, a teacher. So it's like very good luck with women. So that's really cool. All right. So let's see what it says with moon opposite Mars. Yeah, I mean, like the moon opposite Mars, you see here it says your struggle to express yourself assertively usually ends in conflict, arguments, and emotional disputes abound in your life. You may find that your loved ones are often angry, letting off steam in sports or activities that demand concentration will help you achieve balance. So yeah, that's obviously important. Yeah, like I said, as a Aries, you need to literally let that steam out, or else it's just going to boil inside. Okay, so Sun is with Venus, so that or with Mars. Wait, with Venus and Mars. Holy shit, I didn't even see that. So that is amazing because that gives a lot of attractiveness. It gives like a very, very kind of like nice aura, if that makes sense, right? Like a very like nice just vibe. I don't know how else to describe it. It's very attractive to people. And then the Mars kind of gives like more of a badass one, right? So it's like a mix of tough guy and sweet guy. um, and so the fact that's in Pisces makes like it makes it even better, right? Because it's such a strong, Like Pisces Venus is a really great Venus. It's just you have to watch out for that one thing of like falling too deep for the wrong people. Um, the fact that's square Neptune is very clear that karmically that's something you've had to work on. Okay. Let's jump forward a little bit. So Mercury and Pisces, it's really, really important for you to not to like with your to be very careful with your thoughts. Like if, for example, let's say you go on like a company 3-day camping trip or something, or like you're just like working a fuck ton in the office. The camera just go on. Okay. So you're working a fuck ton in the office, or you're just around a ton of people, old friends, whatever, like new friends, whatever. I don't give, it doesn't fucking matter. Um, with the Mercury and Pisces, by osmosis, you can take on other people's thoughts. You can also read other people, like be very, very intuitive, right? It's super intuitive and super compassionate, and it makes someone like thinking a lot about like really, really thinking through the lens of their intuition. But the intuition, you have to do third eye meditations and stuff like that to really activate it. I mean, kind of. It's complicated, but at the end of the day, alone time is very important to know like what thought is yours, what thought's not yours, because sometimes things like shame, guilt, anger, all that that might not belong to you at all can come up. And the amount of clients I've had that have these placements that has like had that same thing, I tell them, just spend time alone. Like if you're alone around a lot of people, like really, really get good with meditation or whatever it is to understand what your baseline level is. And then whenever you're around a certain person, a certain environment, you'll like be like, okay, I'm at -3 right now. Now I go back alone, you get back to 0, and then right? So it's like using that as kind of a benchmark is really really, really, really powerful. All right. So let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, so on some of the more mm, mm. So yeah, you're definitely when it comes to thoughts also. So yeah, the time alone is really important, but also just knowing that you are literally like you have mad, mad, mad spiritual like intuitive potential. So with that aside, I'm actually gonna switch back to this microphone. Does it work? It works. It works. Let me just check, make sure. Check. Check, 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 check. Okay, perfect. So yeah, basically, Sun with Venus, that said, very gentle, very charming, it has a lot of charm, ladies like it, people like it in general, and usually it makes one quite artistic, but you can be easily hurt potentially, right? And also one thing about the Mars conjunction is it makes you very hardworking and very impulsive, right? And a love for the adventure, stuff like that. Like so much energy and very much an initiator. Because you're in Aquarius rising, it might be like a very, very like different type of but you have Sun, Venus, and Mars trine Uranus. So that's really cool because the trine is like a more positive like type of aspect that doesn't really like offend or like rub people the wrong way. So when you have that there, that's dope because that means that like you're able to be your authentic self um in a way that doesn't like rub people the wrong way, you know? So that is cool stuff, isn't it? Anyways, so let's see. Um so okay, talk about that, talk about that, talk about that. Oh, damn. Oh yeah. So yeah, you have Sun opposite Saturn too, because Saturn's on your moon. So that is difficult. So you have double Saturn. So your life, I guarantee change so fucking much. After your Saturn return, because you have so many Saturn aspects. But Saturn with the Sun is you kind of feel like there's like forces acting against you. Hey Esmond, this is my cat who literally helps in astrology. Esmond, look at the chart. Tell me what to look at. Really? The South Node? Okay, I'll talk about it in a sec. I swear, you think it's weird as you want, but she literally does that, and it like somehow works. Her birthday, actually, right now. Happy birthday, Esmond. So, yeah. So she wants me to look at the karmic stuff. I'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, basically Sun opposite Saturn. It's just like first 30 years, like, usually the father was quite strict, imposing. And as an adult, you continue to like feel different restrictions. Like you take 5 steps forward, and then you get kicked by the universe 7 steps back. But then after 30, like you're still taking them steps forward, but not getting kicked back, right? So really, like it really makes someone very determined. So many really successful people have a lot of Saturn aspects, right? It's just making it first 30 years and not allowing anything bad to happen to really fuck you up, Um, so yeah. Um, so, so yeah, it's all about like learning to like get rid of the fear of of pushing beyond the restrictions, right? And kind of create your own rules, your own beliefs on which to build your life, right? Um, so yeah, and then there's just the part like just very, very sensitive person that can be overwhelmed by your empathy with suffering of the world. That's a very common thing with the Neptune square. So, also you may have like martyr like tendencies. Um, and yeah, that's like yeah, I already kind of talked about that one. Like feeling like unsure of yourself and your limitations and whatnot, and who you are, and just identity. So it's really important to identify with spiritual forces, with the spiritual outlet that changes everything for you, and it removes the Neptune fog and replaces it by enlightenment. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, and yeah, you're just like someone who's able to be like very unique, but people are like attracted to this easygoing sense of individuality, right? It makes you like really, really interested in like out of ordinary pursuits. And with Venus trine Uranus, well, I'll talk about that later 'cause it's more about the love stuff. But okay, let's get through this. So, Mercury square Uranus. Wow. So that is your Chiron in, it's probably in Taurus, right? That's my guess. Yep, correct. Um, so Mercury square Uranus, there can be like so many original thoughts and ideas that there can be like this like difficult to like caption them all, like just thinking so fast, Um, but really it's like it's just like about like there's this big need to learn to like um not over speak, like the fair balance between listening and talking. That's really, really important, right? But it gives you like a very complex and profound nature, and a very individualistic nature, right? When it comes to your intellect, right? And sometimes you can be like way like a very independent thinker, someone who thinks outside the box, but it might piss off more traditional type people, right? But it is very brilliant. It's but it can have like provocative ideas, Um, so basically trouble listening is another, like I said, it's another big thing because it can be easily distracted and difficult with concentration, right? I'd say this could be linked to like ADD or ADHD. Um, it also can lead to like you saying the wrong thing in response to others, as you not fully understand what they said first. Like that kind of thing can happen. It's also like, a very big time prankster type deal. But also, it's someone who will challenge like ideas, who will challenge ideas that are just there, very brave with that. So yeah, controversial for sure with that one, definitely. Um, yeah. It's also really good for things like astrology and numerology and science, math, like, you know, anything that yeah, I mean like Uranus rules astrology. So also like having an income from the internet could be really easy. Anything like technology, inventive, it's really, really good. So you're great at thinking outside the box. All right. So Venus is with Mars, so that creates someone who is able to be charming and assertive. Venus charming, Mars assertive. Not such a close conjunction. The sun's in the middle. Um, but yeah, sometimes it just creates like very high expectations, um, and disappointment in relationships, which also goes to the Venus square Neptune, right? It can create that. So yeah. Also, yeah, you really have to watch out for using substances, um, and just like not using escapism. Okay, so with with love, right? So your Venus is in, like I said, it's in Pisces. So you're the romantic, but you have to watch out for all that stuff I talked about earlier. Venus trine Uranus, it makes you very intuitive, and like it makes your relationships very exciting, and it makes you really want like intellectually stimulating relationships. With a nice balance of give and take. When the Libra moon wants that, it needs that fairness, that peace, that harmony. Um, and you need space. Like Libra moon, yeah, it's not so much like that, but you definitely like having relationships where both individuals are not like completely. Well, that's the thing. Like the Pisces Venus likes that, but then like that Uranus energy is more about space. But like I don't know, two things can be true at the same time. On one level, you can really want to have a deep, deep spiritual connection, but then on the other level, you can want to like still have your own life going on. That's how I am. Um, so yeah, we talked about that. So okay, Mars. So Mars, so you have Mars and Sun opposite, Jupiter. So that is really important to just make sure to not get it can give like larger than life ideals and like kind of like the guy who enters the casino and thinks he's gonna win, like too much of a risk taker. So it's all about like finding the balance between like stability and adventure, right? But it's really, really good for reaching goals. It's just like, if you have a really great idea, for example, like just take your time, no rush, sleep on it. Um, and then Mars opposite Jupiter, I think that's kind of like the pull between, wanting to learn, um, wanting to expand yourself, right? Um, wanting to work, or yeah, like basically like between wanting to grind and work and wanting to like just enjoy yourself and learn and travel, you know, stuff like that. And there's like a big need for that one to like develop, self discipline. That's the kind of the one. And then Mars trine Uranus. I already talked about that. It's really good for a high energy and success in many fields. And blah 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 blah. All right, so that's all the aspects. I think you could like you have like nice karmic energies, like with your parents potentially. That's cool. Let's see. I don't see any squares in the nodes. But yeah, so your south node, as my cat looked at, is in Aquarius. So you're the opposite of mine. So basically, you're here to allow yourself to shine in this lifetime. It's very, very important that you allow yourself to shine. There's a past life tendency for you to be very, very much like the helper. You know, the person that's willing to go out and almost like be so selfless that they allow themselves to kind of, you know, like take one for the team, aka like not able to like individualize themselves creatively because they're doing this great work for other people, right? So yeah, it's like also because it's in North Nodes in the seventh, it's a quest about like letting go of any ego-centered kind of tendencies from past lives and really devoting your life to others and also to relationships and learning to compromise in relationships. But then on the other hand, it's like, you know, it's about developing inner strength, right? And um inner creativity and being in touch with your inner child, right? Which I hate how that fucking sounds, but like the whole idea is like being able to be goofy and not being like all like stuck up, you know, like being fucking weird is good, you know. Um, so yeah. Sometimes with that journey there can be like periods of loneliness, but you know, that's part of the whole lesson, you know. Because you're here like, you know, to really, really yeah, like it's really, really important for you to have strong relationships in this lifetime, you know. So yeah. And eight, six. Okay. So just go house by house. So mhm. Yeah, so super intuitive, really good imagination. You can have like really good like ideas though about like how to make money. Mercury in the second. Um, but yeah, lacking Earth, like literally if you don't find ways like to get that Earth popping, like, you know, it can literally fuck everything up. Venus in the second house is literally like one of the best things for money, but remember, like your money will be fine as long as you are investing yourself spiritually. Um, but Venus in the second usually gives a lot of good energy there. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, and Eris is on your oh, never mind, it's not. Thank God. Okay, Chiron the fourth in Cancer. That's speaking to like early childhood, maybe feeling rejected by your family in some sense, or just like in the early childhood. That's like when you had like a crisis, like kind of like a self-esteem, big self-esteem issues, self-worth issues. Um, you know, maybe not like distrusting the body, not thinking that you're, you know, looking good or feeling good or whatever, you know. So it's, but like I see like lots, I don't know. I actually like with those aspects, I could definitely see with a family, right? Like feeling like rejected and misunderstood by the family and pain, kind of karmic pain, kind of showing up in that respect, right? Um, but that whole period, it you know, as you face that pain, you're finding those inner resources, you know, that help you develop that compassion, that ability to really help yourself and then be able to help others later in life. So Sirius in the sixth and Cancer, basically like you feel really nurtured, you know, when you know, like with the Earth thing, like when your daily routine and everything is running smoothly, when things are organized. So yeah, I think overall with love, like as I was saying, you know, it's that mix of that real balance and beauty, but also the moon is in the ninth house, right? So there's also like an emotional need to find wisdom and truth in this lifetime, right? So to like go to me, the astrologer, go to this other person, does something else, like literally like try on so many different things and never ever say you know shit, you know? Never ever say you know shit, because that is when you know that, like, the second we say that we know something, like that's when we know, that's when it's beginning of the end, you know? And interesting that you have Saturn in the ninth house, because that's actually a lot of people who study things like astrology and um you know, things that are like very closely related to like the truth, like they have ninth house Saturns a lot of the times, and Jupiter there too. So this can make traveling like a huge part of your life, which is very interesting because you have Pluto there, and Pluto in the ninth house is very common in people, like in like the way I look at it is like a lot of people who have that do not feel this like this kind of connection with the country they're from oftentimes. And it's because of lots of past lives spent in other countries of the world. So I don't know if you like this reading, I do something called astrocartography. Shelby could tell you about it. It's basically like astrology uh on the world, geographical astrology, and how we all have different energetic hot spots and cold spots, etc. But yeah, you have it like your ninth house of like of truth and of you know, because like finding your worldview and your truth, you know, it's so important for anyone in the US to get the fuck out, you know? Like I grew up there, I got the fuck out. I mean, I'm half French, but like yeah, it's like I really think any American that can do it needs to spend some time out. And it's not even like about like America being better or worse. It's just because it just increases your worldview of like what else is possible, you know? So in your chart with Jupiter there, I could see how maybe the first 30 years may have been difficult with respect to traveling, but you know, you're definitely 1,000% meant to travel in this lifetime. Like big time, big time. I ain't capping, capping. Um, so yeah, like relationships also, like lots of karmic relationships will come, and you're at your best when you're, um, in really good relationships, like giving to others is the key to your self-fulfillment and happiness, right? And then in Leo, really just wanting to be like someone who helps people and who's like a good example and a bright light. Um, so Vertex and Virgo, that's just like your destined, like your doorway to higher awareness is through helping other people, you know, and you feel like you're destined to help and heal the world in some way, right? And it doesn't always happen right away, your midheaven is in Sag, so close to Antares in the royal stars. So people who have mutable midheavens, they tend to be people who might change their careers several times, or maybe be doing their passion and their moneymaker and flip them after some point, right? And it's always very fated how this stuff happens. If one door closes, one door opens. Um, so yeah, rituals and connecting to earth magic, like the Wicca, stuff like that. Um, yeah, like work if you ever worked with herbs and earth magic, that'd be very interesting. Potions, I don't fucking know. Alchemy. So, I think like in terms of so you have Vesta on your descendant, so you definitely are someone who has a focus on intimate relationships. Um, and there's lots of dedication to working on yourself and your role in close relationships, and you're definitely someone who is willing to do the extra work to make them work, right? And then in terms of your work, best in Leo, you work best most likely as like an entrepreneur, someone when you're left to your own devices, right? And you definitely love freedom within your work, and you love to connect with different people and so forth. Um, all right, so let's see. So okay, um, yeah. So I love that Jupiter in ninth house in Libra. So that gives you like a strong concern for justice and just like a really big, like really diplomatic person. So this actually really helps out that kind of like Aries Libra thing to have Jupiter in there. Um, So yeah, and it just kind of, yeah. Yeah, just this great quest for knowledge in the ninth house. Gotta love it. That's the best place you can have it. Um, endless quest, endless quest, endless quest. And then also you would probably express your spiritual values in your relationships with the Jupiter there. Um, so yeah, like the Saturn ninth house, as I was saying before, like first 30 years you might feel really restricted in exploring the meaning of life, but then as you pass the Saturn return, then you can mount like a very serious investigation into the philosophical or spiritual, religious, whatever realms, right? Um, and yeah, like you're someone who likes to have your mind lifted above the mundane, and really be in the realms of like imagination and dreaminess, so loving that escape, and some of that escape can be done, through traveling, physically or metaphorically. And the traveling metaphorically is you know knowledge and wisdom, right? And once you get a lick of wisdom, once you start, it's on. Not the I know you started. I'm just saying, like once you start like a new area of wisdom that you're interested in, like with a chart like yours, can just go go go. That Aries is just boom boom. Let's fucking go. Passion and energy. Um, and yeah, like Pluto in the ninth also, like there's this powerful drive to discover like the truth, the higher meaning in life, right? So, um, you know, you do have to beware of becoming dogmatic in your philosophies. But there can even be like an obsession with travel and all these things. Philosophy. So okay, so next, Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio, like me. That's cool. So basically, Black Moon Lilith is like, it's not a planet. It's kind of like it's like you at your worst, right? Um, and basically, having it in Scorpio. Hold up, what the fuck just happened? So having it in Scorpio is very interesting because it's in the 10th house. So you're not someone to fuck with. You definitely know the thing to say to really fuck with someone. And it's just one of those things where, it's like kind of soul versus ego. Um, if you know what I'm talking about. And when you're in your ego, perhaps you um fall victim to that, to like the low energy of Scorpio, which is like manipulation, power struggles, doing anything to get your way. So like if there are unhealed wounds um around blah 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 blah, around like abandonment and power, the power versus powerlessness, right? That's where things can get dicey. So yeah, the best thing with Black Moon Lilith is that you learn about it. So the fear I associate with Scorpio Black Moon Lilith is fear of loss. Um, so sometimes people with this, and I have this as well, as I said, is like they'll turn everything into a winning and losing situation, right? Um, so there's difficulty letting go of unhealthy situations because letting go is considered losing, right? So it all comes down to like fear of death and loss. So lots of people with this will find partners or situations where that other person needs to be saved. And that actually is a projection of their own need to save themselves, right? And the integration comes from understanding the difference of when we are, just going on just because we don't want to lose or because we really want to have something, right? So it's all about reinforcing the belief that when something has to end, it's usually because something better is waiting. So yeah. Um, so yeah, and then I feel like I want to say a few more words about that. But yeah, Uranus in the 10th, your ruling planet at 29 degrees. That means you are trying to turn the dials, like level up when it comes to you as like as an individual, as a pure individual, unconditioned individual. So it's in your 10th house of career. So, that would make a lot of sense. Oh, why is it not sharing? Yeah, my camera went out. But that would make a lot of sense. That your 10th house is Capricorn, but your midheaven's the 11th. So, you know, your career, I think you would want to get a lot out of it that would help you on that would help you in terms of, your idea of what truth is, right? Internally, and maybe like, yes, I don't know, like it'd be so cool if you're like something like a psychologist or some kind of healer like that, because it would just, yeah, make so much sense. But you could be in business, you can do anything, you do anything. But yeah. So also more stuff about love. Your Juno's in Scorpio, so that's kind of like your ideal mate. So in 10th house, someone that you can kind of have like a public relationship with, that maybe you guys not work together, but that you guys are able to like kind of do things as a couple, like publicly, that's really important. And then in Scorpio, of course, it's like really, really wanting a loyal partner with like a deep emotional bond, and um someone that you can rely on, and that's that's sexy, and that's just very empathetic, and the best thing. My girlfriend's Scorpio, and yeah, just very like unreal loyalty, and you can, yeah, trust, and just feel comfortable. I don't know. So I think it's like um yeah, just like almost like looking for a soulmate, I would say, like with that placement and your Venus in Pisces, like those two together, definitely like wanting that deep emotional bond for sure. But it has to have some fun in there, that's for sure. And a lot of kind of calmness, and it'd probably be nice if she had a little bit of Earth. Why not? That'd be not bad. But I would never say you like date. Any two charts can date. I do compatibility readings if you're ever interested. All right, let's see this shit. Um, so also your ascendant squares Uranus, so that's interesting. That can make you kind of like I'm just gonna go back my face now. But that's the ruling planet squares the ascendant. So yeah, I think what can happen, or wait, no, it doesn't. Does it? Yeah, it does. So what happens there is that it just makes that need to express your own true personality super, super important. Very unlikely to be like super conservative, not politically, just conservative, the word. Um, and you know, very, very about like, recognizing your own individual rights and so forth. And the more that you're forced to kind of conform to society and expectations, all that bullshit, the more that you're likely to rebel. So people with this like tend to like really resent any kind of limitation, any kind of rules. Sometimes it's like too far, right? Where it's like they're sometimes doing it just like not looking at it rationally. So, but it also makes you very accepting of other people, non-judgmental, and yeah, very much about world peace and everyone being the same. It's a nice placement. And also it's like a very, very good leader, someone who's not afraid to be their individual self. So that's a huge part of your karma, right? Your journey in this lifetime is to really be your authentic self, right? So through creativity of some sort, you discover more and more who that is by having the right relationships, letting go of the ones no longer serving you, right? Super important shit. All right. Okay, anything left? Let's see. So yeah, Uranus in the 10th. That's also like really speaking to like an unconventional career path. Um, and yeah, just like also like I was saying, like being like being able to have two different or more careers, you can get really restless in that respect. Um, like there'll be times where you just like want a total change in direction to kind of like you're always updating, and then that like the career will be updating as well to match your new self. So midheaven on Antares, Sagittarius, like that just gives like um there could be something related to like foreign countries with your career, but really just expanding and something where you learn a lot. And then having Neptune the 11th, the last planet we'll talk about. I'll pull up the stars, then we'll be done. That is very interesting because that's someone who searches for like spiritual friends, spiritual groups of people, um, someone who escapes reality through groups, right? And someone who can really be of service to like be a part of like a group that does good things, or just having like another explanation is having like a very long-term goal that's very spiritual and very like I don't know if spiritual is the right word, but like having like a very, very compassionate long-term goal, life purpose. All right, let's see if I see anything here. Ooh, shit. You have a royal star. You have Fomalhaut right on your fucking Mercury. There's four royal stars, and it only matters if they're right on an important point. And it's only 0.08 away. Damn. I'll talk about that in a sec. I just want to tally them all up. So you have Amor on your Venus. That is the most romantic shit I've ever heard. And White Moon Selena. So like I don't know, you could have some real artistic stuff going on. And very, very I feel like your love life, there's like some like there's like a lot of protection. You have a protective aura over you. And a more on your Venus, like that is the most beautiful placement. Venus and Pisces already is like such a lover, such a good person. And having a more on there, that is the asteroid about unconditional love. So I could imagine you being in relationships, and even if things don't end perfect or whatever, still keeping that love. It's like really, really beautiful. Wow. It's smack on there. So next, let's see. So wow, Aldebaran is in range of your IC. That's another royal star. Um, so Aldebaran and Fomalhaut so far, and Amor. It's really hard to find information on these stars. I mean, I know about some of them, but like it's very fucking hard. Let's see if they have anything on Aldebaran conjunct the IC. It's like all very ancient stuff. Nope, only the planets. What the fuck? Why not descendant? That's weird. I know they have it here, but I just don't like the definitions here usually. Okay, let's see. It says, um, a splendid, and it always says the same shit. Just like very good for success. Like this is like one of the luckiest planets. But like this is just like a thing they have in here, which is a splendid life, illustrious life, glorious, mighty, and commanding nature. It just means it's good. Very good for resources. Um, Prosperity in old age through savings, investments, or pensions. So yeah, that's cool. And with Fomalhaut on Mercury, so Fomalhaut is like about divine imagination, inspiration, right? So with Mercury, I wonder if that has to do with your writing, um, or just communicating. So stimulates mental capabilities and promises success as a writer or scientist. Interesting. Now, what's this source they're giving me? Is that a book? Oh shit. Okay, I need to get this book. Amazon. Fuck. This doesn't work over here in Romania. Sorry, just one second, my friend. What is me? Go. Okay, so that's awesome. All right, here we are, here we are, here we are, here we are. So anything else? Okay, so yeah, we talked about that. And high Alpha on the Senate. So yeah, you can get very lucky um in love and relationships. Okay. Ooh, Hecate. Ooh, okay, so that's like a witch, like very like there's these three asteroids that are known as like the witch asteroids. I'm not like big into asteroids, but I'll speak about them, but I know that Hecate is, one of the three, and you have it with your Jupiter and your Saturn and your moon. So it's like right between three important planets. So that could speak to like certain like occult, esoteric, natural talents. Um, I don't know. These are kind of just like the sprinkles on top. Okay. Nothing there. What's that? Oh, you have Fortuna on your midheaven. Interesting. And Antares. So that is big time. It's a little bit far, but it still works. So basically, I mean, that could be potential fame right there. Or fame or fortune, I mean. Like that's very, very good for success in life. Um yeah. So that's really, really interesting. Very interesting. This one's That's a little bit closer. So, my friend, you have three of the four royal stars in your chart. Now, they're the only one that's really close is Fomalhaut, but still, three of them, that's pretty crazy. Um, so one thing about the royal stars, I don't really tell many people this. I actually have two of them. I have, but my Regulus is like very, very close. And then my Fomalhaut is my descendant. But I have a tattoo that says Regulus, and it's not because I'm like flexing or whatever the fuck. It has a Leo sign. Oh, it just looks fucking cool. But it's a reminder because the ancients, this is from like thousands of years ago in ancient Babylon, right? They said, and I've had to like really fucking like the way I found this information is crazy, but like they say about Regulus, and with the other royal stars too, so this applies to you, is that there'll be times that people will be jealous and will want to fuck with you. And it is paramount to not take revenge. That's why I got this tattoo. And um, when you shine like that, when you have a lot to lose, people that don't have shit to lose and hate themselves, they want to fuck with you. So it's not any new surprise or anything. So Antares, it's on your midheaven, but it's not smack on there. Let's see the exact angle. 240. So yeah, it's fine, but barely. So midheaven, the Antares is speaking to mental alertness, strategic ability, encourage and to make daredevils. And yeah, it's just like very, very strong. Like who's like someone who's like very militant, a fighter, someone who's like very ambitious, daredevil, someone who's willing to just like really, really go crazy. Like, I don't know. Mr. Like if you want to know what Antares energy is, Mr. Tate, Pablo Escobar, those are two people that like Tate has his sun and his moon on Antares, potentially on the midheaven, forget. Um and Pablo Escobar has his sun, I think his sun and midheaven exactly on it. So yeah. All right. Um well, well. Thank you. And let's see. Yeah, so let me go check just to make sure like what you got or what your friend got you. So yeah, like just yeah, take your time with it. Um hold up. And yeah, so most people what they do is they do this reading and then they do obviously so you already have the follow-up. So take your time, watch the reading, whatever. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it. So you have a live follow-up also. Nearly every single person, wow, this is like one of the longer readings. I've been shorting my readings, but I really wanted to come fucking hard for you. Um, so yeah. But yeah, so what most people do is that they add the current astrology. So astrology, like this is a nail chart, you get this done once in your life, done, you know? But astrology is always affecting us. It's like the weather, right? So yeah, I would be happy to give you and Shelby each. You guys would be doing it separately. A $50 reduction for the current astrology, and basically like the follow up that you already have. It's an hour only about this. We're just talking about this. So if you add that on, we have around 3 hours. And we talk. I literally tell you every predictive astrology. I'm not like predicting the future, but I'm telling you an idea of the themes, and it's called yeah, it's really great. And I use some of my psychology master stuff in there too. So let me know if you want to do that. If not, no pressure. Take your time. Let me know when you're ready for the follow up. All right, my friend. Thank you so much. And I shall talk to you later. Ciao.